Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth-Busting Mondays. And happy 4th of July to my fellow Americans. I hope you guys are having a wonderful and happy holiday. And for those of you guys that are celebrating, please just stay safe, end up having fun, and end up being very patriotic as we always do on this special day. And I thought that 4th of July would be even better with another episode of Myth-Busting Mondays. So for today's episode, guys, for the final epic myth, this one's going to be insane because it does sound pretty ludicrous, but that's always the case on this channel. This final myth is going to be, can you complete No Mercy's finale without leaving the safe room? Sounds nuts, doesn't it? Well, I'm going to be showing you guys the epic gameplay that we got and seeing if whether or not that this myth is truly possible. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe to show you guys support. And as always, guys, let's get on with another episode of Myth-Busting Mondays. Myth. Can you cut a smoker's tongue with a melee weapon while someone else is being pulled? Alrighty guys, so kicking off today's episode is going to be a myth submitted in by Star. Now Star, technically when it comes to this myth, I believe that you are going to be right in your theory, because you can do this by yourself, so I can only imagine that you could do this for another player. There is an achievement in the game called Lickety Split on PC, where you end up meleeing a smoker's tongue to save yourself, so I'd like to believe that with any melee weapon of your choice, you can do this to save another player. So Dan is a smoker and he's going to grab Glabursko. I'm ready on standby to cut the tongue, so Dan, go ahead and let's see what happens. So I'm cutting the tongue, I believe, and yep, without touching Dan and without touching Glabursko and just simply meleeing the tongue, I was able to free him. So Star, my friend, your myth is confirmed. You can indeed save somebody by meleeing a smoker's tongue on the behalf of your teammate. Myth. Can you defib a player's body while it's falling in the air? Alrighty guys, so this next myth was requested in by Dan. Now according to Dan, the way that this myth works is that we have to end up having it where we're hanging on a ledge somewhere, and then while the player is hanging on the ledge, right as they die and bleed out, you try to defibrillate their body, because what happens is that if you can end up getting the hit scan for their body before it's out of bounds, you can still complete the process even though it's going away from you. This is because the way that the Left 4 Dead healing mechanics work is that you can heal somebody at any range as long as you got the process started while they were close to you. So right now we're going to try to do this on Dan, so we're going to be seeing whether or not we can even get him over to the safe room here on Dead Center, because that's going to be an added bonus. And it looks like you can. He even had the added bonus of getting past the death barrier, which means that you can use this as a map skip, which is really, really cool. So he really wanted to know if this would work on Dead Center, which it did, which was really nice. But I'm pretty sure you could use this on any map that has an elevated surface, and this would still be a benefit to you. So the myth is confirmed, and Dan, you got your wish. You found a new shortcut here on Dead Center, at least for us. Myth. Can you get in the Crash Course escape vehicle before the finale is complete? Alrighty guys, so this next myth was requested in by Vader. Now Vader, when it comes to your myth, it's very interesting because hypothetically, the Crash Course finale vehicle is not really that far out of reach. In fact, if you had the door open, you probably could just make a clean jump for it. But you have to end up no-clipping to even possibly get in here. Because of the fact that the door is locked, it only will open when you end up lowering the entire thing. And there's no way you can spawn in like a new model, for example, of this particular vehicle with the door open. So you have to just deal with this one. So when we end up no-clipping in here, you technically can get in here, but you can't run around like you would if it was completely lowered. So I guess you could say that this myth is confirmed, but however though, the thing is that it's really not going to benefit you in any way because all you end up doing is getting stuck in here. And then plus also, if you end up activating the lift while somebody's in here early, you end up meeting your brutal demise and you end up just getting crushed in this thing, which is not good because you're going to die. And I don't know why this exactly is the case, because I think what it is that the characters are in the vehicle, but it thinks that you're underneath of the vehicle, which leads them to crushing you. And so you can do it, and it is confirmed, but it's of no benefit to you. Myth. Can you defib a player's body on a lift as it's moving? Alrighty guys, this next myth was submitted in by Nitwit. Now Nitwit, your myth is interesting because you say specifically on a lift. Now, whenever I think of a lift, and maybe this is just going to end up being a thing culturally, but I think you're referring to an elevator. Well, at least that's what I think you're saying. So just to be better safe than sorry, we tried this on multiple just moving surfaces in general that were elevators, bridges, all that stuff of the sort that would just end up going vertically for your myth, just to cover all possible ground. So firstly, we are trying No Mercy's elevator. Now for No Mercy's elevator, you can see from the gameplay here that Glabersko revives Dan's body, and it does a weird thing where Dan's body flies through the floor, and then it's miraculously brought back up. You can even see it from my perspective here. Dan just warps, and it's a really weird mechanic. Now, I know that No Mercy's elevator is infamous for being buggy and glitchy, because I remember on Left 4 Dead 1, for example, you could throw objects at a player's feet, and they would just phase through the elevator and then cause them to die. So this elevator has always been wonky, but having it with the defibrillator is even more crazy, because it defies the laws of physics, not once, but twice, and it just is amazing to me that this somehow works. Then for the next one, we decided to do the window cleaner machine lift that is on No Mercy next to the exploding gas station. And this works too, but this led to Glabersko's body being technically stuck inside of the machine, so he could not get out without cheats. So you can do this one too as well, but it's no benefit to Glabersko, and it's really no benefit to your team. You're better off just letting them get out of a closet in the next chapter. Okay, so now we move on to the Left 4 Dead 2 map. So here is the first chapter of Dead Center. Now for Dead Center's first chapter, the elevator goes down, so it leads to the bodies that get revived to be revived upward, and they will end up on top of the elevator. Now, you can technically do this to your advantage, and you can just go around and go into the other elevator shaft and just skip this panic event this way. But that's really the only thing that this serves a purpose for, because if you want to play this legitimately, you're just going to have your game essentially do a bug or a glitch here. Next, we end up having the elevator that's on Dead Center's atrium or finale, and this once again is an elevator that goes down, and the exact same logic applies, but the one thing that we noticed is that the player that was getting defibrillated typically stayed in the elevator. However, though, the longer you waited, you could end up making the player go above the elevator, but that led to them getting stuck. Then we end up having the elevator that's going to end up being on hard rain. Now, this is interesting because this is the only elevator that not only goes up, but also goes down, so it can go in a multitude of different directions, therefore having the most probability. But the thing is, though, is that both attempts that we did here gave the exact same results. It's just that they went in different directions depending on which chapter you were on. If you were going down, the body went up. If you were going up, the body went down, and nothing really changed here, to be honest. We tried a multitude of different surfaces, and pretty much all of them did end up working to our advantage, although if you were not careful, the players could die from fall damage, because once you defibrillate them again, if they're high enough on a surface, they will just die from falling to the ground. The only lift type item that was able to end up killing a player and making it where it's not worth reviving them is going to be the sacrifice bridge, because when that goes down and you try to revive them on the way up, their body will instantly go through the bridge, and it leads to them falling into the water, which means that you will not survive no matter what, because this is an instant death barrier spot, and there's zero way around this legitimately. Overall, when it comes to your myth, Nitwit, if you're looking for a outcome of survivability, some of these do work, but not every one of them. In fact, some of them, including the one that we did with Vader's myth on Crash Course, will literally just flat out kill you. But even the ones that were intended for this, the ones that were legitimately a means to defibrillate a player, even those sometimes have a risk of killing you. But however though, if you simply just want to know if you can defibrillate a player on a moving surface, then that part is confirmed. It's just that I do not recommend doing this on certain maps, so take a look at this video and only do it on specific locations, otherwise you might end up regretting it. Alrighty guys, now we move on to the final myth of today's episode. Now for this final myth is once again going to be, can you complete No Mercy's finale by just simply staying in the safe room? If you were to do nothing and you didn't try to kill any zombies and you just stayed in safety, could you end up being rescued? Is the game going to treat this as a logical situation where if the helicopter pilot just does not see your body, they just assume you are dead? Or is he just going to know better and know that you are actually there and go to rescue you because he saw you in the streets? So what did Valve decide to do? Well, let's find out with the final myth. Myth: can you complete No Mercy's finale by just staying in the safe room? Alrighty guys, so this final myth was submitted in by CrazyDave, which is once again just another alias for Zoe. So Zoe, thank you for submitting in a myth that is final myth worthy. I like the creativity in this because, I mean, realistically, who wouldn't want to do this in an actual zombie apocalypse? Why go out there and fight when you can just simply stay inside of the safe room where it's nice and cozy, you have all the unlimited ammo in the world, you're already in a hospital for goodness sake, so you have all the medicine in the world that you're going to need. You'll just be better off staying in here. The only way I can see why this wouldn't work is if Valve was like, oh, well, technically the helicopter pilot would not see you, and also just the fact that you can't get to the radio without leaving this place, and you can't get back without glitching. But realistically, though, would you not be able to do this? So that's what we're going to be trying here today. We got no clip activated, so that way we can end up going back out when we need to, when we're ready. But in the meantime, we're just using console commands just to end up summoning him, because you can end up just doing that without having to go to the radio. And right now, it looks like it says that it's working. So in the meantime, we're just like lying around in the safe room just waiting for the text to show up, because that's going to be an indicator of whether or not that we finally got the result we wanted. Because the hatch on the door is still there, we have not left, and everything is playing as normal. We are just simply killing time and just seeing if this is working. Now, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to speed up the rest of the footage here just so that way things go by quicker, because we did not increase the speed at all. That's another thing you can do with console commands, is make everything go super fast or super slow, or just keep it at normal. And we just decided to just wait out normally so that way there would be no placebos. But after a while, we did see that on captions that a helicopter did indeed spawn in. Now, we decided to end up activating no clip to go over there and see it for ourselves, and see if whether or not that we were just imagining things, or if maybe we accidentally like messed something up with the console commands. But I verified with the other guys, and nope, the helicopter does show up here legitimately, which means that the final myth is also confirmed. You can just sit in the safe room of No Mercy's hospital, and the chopper pilot will indeed come rescue you. But yeah, guys, that's going to be here for today's episode of Myth-Busting Mondays. And once again, happy 4th of July to my fellow Americans. Once again, also as well, please stay safe. Make sure that if you're going to use fireworks, use them responsibly. If you're going to end up driving, please also drive responsibly. Overall, just try to end up being safe and have fun on this epic holiday. But if you guys also don't celebrate the 4th of July, I just hope you had a good Monday and enjoyed another episode of Myth-Busting Mondays. If you guys end up enjoying today's video and you want to see more Myth-Busting Mondays, please show your support by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. If you would like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic's my very first sponsor, and they are sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers you're ever going to see. Thanks for watching, guys. I love all of you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords. Jesus here. And you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too. And give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!
I can't imagine what these sex toll hotlines are like with modern microphones. Like with ASMR quality mics, the sex booth hotlines must be ballin' if those were still around, but I think they're not even a thing anymore.
Yeah. I was thinking
like I can imagine Dan on the end of a mic and being like, "So, what are you wearing tonight?"
What are you wearing tonight, babe?
Oh, ew, that's fucking creepy. Never say that again. I like feel like you undressed me with your voice. I felt like I was getting molested by your words. Fucking creepy. No, you stop.